All right, so why should you use Norwex microfiber to dust your home? Well, let me tell you. Norwex microfiber is able to pick up the chemicals that are often found in our dust particles. These can range from phthalates to pesticides and many others that get tracked into our homes on our feet or that blow in from outside. So, what the Norwex microfiber does, as a reminder, is it does not cross contaminate. So, when you're using the dusting tools and you're going from surface to surface, it's not, cross contaminating and bringing the chemicals onto other surfaces. It's picking up inside the fibers and holding it there. So, that is great news for you and your family. Okay, so our first dusting tool is the Norwex Dry Mop Pad. This is made of open-ended microfiber, and it is able to create a positive static charge when you rub it against itself, so that it is able to pick up negatively charged dust particles. So to demonstrate this, I'm just going to throw it down onto the floor, and this is our mop handle. And it's made out of Velcro, so you just pop it down on there. And then you'll want to come up, you'll want to twist the handlebar. And to help your back not get sore, you want to adjust the handle so this bar is right under your chin. And you'll tighten it. And this little ball on top is actually an added feature for getting scuff marks off your floor, so that's nice. And you can lean it up against the wall so that it doesn't fall down when you want it to stay somewhere, so that's nice. All right, so if you want to follow me, well, first I'm going to give it that static charge. If you don't rub it against itself, you can just use the Norwex rubber brush and go over it a few times and give it a positive static charge. So we're going to go over here, and I'm just going to start going back and forth. This is a small area, but when I get into a bigger area, you want to start making a figure 8 motion so that you're keeping the dust particles in front of the mop head. And the mop is made out of aluminum, so it's very lightweight. As you can see, I'm just whipping around pretty quickly and effortlessly. And there's also a little bit of an edge on both sides, so I can just go up along my baseboard and make that nice and clean without bending over and hurting my back. So I'm going to bring this over here and take my trash can when I'm all done. If you want to see, that's pretty nasty. All right, now I'm just going to bring my trash can over, and you can hear all that. And you want to use your rubber brush and just listen to all that dirt. Now, if you have dust allergies, like I do, you can get out your sweeper hose attachment and just clean it off that way. That's what I like to do, so I'm not getting the dust into my eyes. And then you're done with that. Another great thing that the dry mop pad is good for is if you're going to paint a room, you can use this and go up and down your walls to prep your walls and get them clean before you paint. So that's really nice. And when I'm done with that, I just take that off. When I'm all done dusting, I'll just grab the end here. They all have, a lot of Norwex products have little tags on them. So when you're all done, you can just hang them up, and it makes for easy, fast storage. And when I'm done dusting, I'll get out my wet mop pad. I'm not going to demonstrate this. I'll just tell you how to use it. You want to get it wet and wring it out really good. And then you just throw it on the floor and you whip around and clean with it the exact same way I just did with the dry mop pad. And then you have clean floors with no chemicals, and you don't have to waste your money on, say, Swiffer pads, their dry mop pads or their wet mop pads, or you don't have to waste your money on floor cleaners. And I have clean floors that don't have sticky chemical residue, and as soon as I'm done, I don't have to worry about my family, my kids or pets walking around on the floors and nobody's soaking in toxins into their skin, which is especially good for me and my kids because they still like to crawl on their hands and knees on the floor and sometimes lick the floor, so I don't have to worry about them licking up chemicals, so that's really good for me. All right, we're going to move on to our second dusting tool, which is the Enviro Wand. And the Enviro Wand is really good for getting into really tight places, like let's say beside your refrigerator, under your stove, under and behind different pieces of furniture. It's great for getting cobwebs that are up high. And my favorite thing about it is this ruffled texture on it. It's really great for people who have air duct vents that are like up high on their walls or even their ceilings. It gets into those spaces really well and cleans them. My favorite use for the Enviro Wand is that it actually attaches to the mop handle, so that way you can get to really high places without having to grab a step stool or a chair. So that's pretty nice. My favorite thing to clean with the Enviro Wand is my ceiling fans. And because I have the mop handle, I don't have to get on a step stool. And what you want to do is, it's very bendable. You can bend it to any shape you want to. It doesn't really matter. As you can see, it's very flexible. I'm going to bend it this way so that I'm getting the top of my ceiling fan and the sides where there's a lot of dirt and nasty stuff. So I'll just put it up here and you clean the top, and then when you're done with that, it has a back side so you can just clean without it moving too much. The bottom of your blades also that get dirty. And then when I'm done with that in my kitchen, I just like to bend it up straight like this, and I can go right up to the top of my cupboards pretty quickly. And any other hard to reach places, this is amazing for. I also like to use it, if you'll follow me here into the dining room. I'll bend it up a little bit and I'll use it to dust my walls. If you dust your walls, I think 3 times a year, it helps reduce dust allergens by 80%. So that's really good for people who suffer from allergies, like me and my husband. Okay, so that was our second dusting tool. Now we're gonna go on to our third tool, which is the Norwex dust mitt. I love the Norwex dust mitt. It fits like a glove on your hand, and there's 2 sides, so when one side gets dirty, you can just turn it over to the other side. I like to use 2 dusting mitts. I'm able to go around and dust twice as fast with them both on my hands. And you can also create a static charge with this. Just rub against them. You have a static charge, and I'm ready to go and dust. I've got 2 hands, so I'm going twice as fast. And I can get into small areas. I love it for figurines or statues like this that have a lot of small little grooves inside. And I can just clean that very quickly. I love it for my chairs. I can just grab everything and dust that. Grab the legs with my hands and clean that pretty quickly. So, love the dusting mitt. Another use for the dusting mitt is to clean your window screens. You just get it wet and wring it out, and you can clean your window screens from the inside with the dusting mitt. It's able to pull out, the dust and the pollen and all the allergens that get stuck in our screens. It's a huge help when you're wanting to spring or fall clean, instead of having to drag all your window screens out to the hose and clean them off. I can do it all inside, and that's amazing because I have 25 windows in my house and on 2 different levels, so that is not a job I want to be doing. So I love the dusty mitts, and I love to use them as an alternative to Swiffer dusters. I'm just spending money on that, so I save money with these because when I'm done, I get my rubber brush, I sweep it off, and I can use it a few times before I have to wash it. And I also encourage people to stay away from products like Pledge because they're just full of chemicals that you're spraying into the air and you're inhaling. And it's also just spraying oils onto your furniture. And the oils actually attract dust, which they know that they're doing that, so you'll buy it more often. And it's just really not good for you. If you like wet dusting, you can get the dusting mitt wet and dust that way. That's perfectly fine. All right, now I'm going to talk about two of my favorite kitchen essentials, and one of them is the kitchen cloth. I really love this for cleaning up any kind of protein messes. So if you have, your chicken juice or raw eggs on the counters, this removes all of the protein from the surface and you're left with no bacteria growing on your surface. It's also great for greasy messes, for butter, I love it for the top of my stove. It just really quickly and easily removes grease without soap. So that's really nice for someone like me who doesn't have time to also be rinsing the soap off my counters. I love it for, if you'll zoom in here, it has a rigid design, so it's kind of what I like to think of as my quicker picker upper. And you can see this mess I have on here that my daughter made. I'm just gonna quickly go over that and pick it up, and see that one's a little stuck on. It removes stuck on messes very nicely, and it just picks up everything in the grooves. And I don't have to bring a paper towel out here and get that and waste paper towels. So this will save you money on paper towels. And another favorite tool is the kitchen towel. It's about the same kind of ruffled texture, but it is able to absorb a lot of water, which I'll demonstrate right here. This is 2 cups of water in this measuring bowl. And I love these towels because when I'm drying my dishes, I used to have to use, about, if you want to look up here at me, I used to use about two or 3 towels to dry my dishes because they just don't absorb water that well. And I love this towel because it's the only one I need when I'm doing my dishes. And because both the kitchen cloth and the kitchen towel have the back lock, the silver inside, it helps keep all the nasty stuff deep inside the fibers, so your claws don't feel stiff and they don't smell because the silver is able to inhibit mold and bacteria growth. So I'll go a couple weeks before I clean my towel. And if you look down here, it's absorbed most of that water, which is pretty impressive. That was 2 cups of water in that towel. So yeah, I'll go a few weeks before I wash that. Now my kitchen cloths, I like to only use those for a day or 2 because you're getting a lot more dirt and grime in those, and since it can hold so much, you want to wash them more often. But these come in a 3-pack, so that's really nice if you want to try the kitchen cloth. All right, so that's my dusting tools and my favorite kitchen tools. Thank you for watching.